Top 10 Best Coaches in NBA History. The alley-oop. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Karl Malone, and Tim Duncan are among the greatest players to ever play in the NBA. Nobody can dispute their talent levels and the impact that they had on the game, but talent is not everything. In order to be a successful player, good coaching must be involved. In the NBA, the best coaches are measured by wins, usually the number of championships as a factor. This article will use winning percentage and wins as criteria to formulate the list of the 10 best coaches in NBA history, in no particular order. Lenny Wilkens. For many years, Lenny Wilkens held the record for the most coaching wins, with 1,332, and has since been passed by Don Nelson, who coached longer. Wilkens had a winning percentage of 53.6%. Wilkens coached 6 teams, had a career that lasted 32 seasons, but only has one championship ring to show for his efforts. His cool, calm demeanor and smooth smile characterized his career almost as much as his win total. Wilkens needed to smile often in his coaching life. He also had 11 losing seasons, and holds the record for the most losses with 1,155. Wilkens was proof that coaches had to learn how to lose before they could win. Don Nelson. Don Nelson was an interesting coaching personality, and he has the most wins in NBA history. Nelson's record was 1,335 to 1,063, for a winning percentage of 55.7%. His impact on the game, who he has coached, and his win totals are far more impactful than his lack of a total. Nelson coached such legends as Chris Mullin, Mitch Richmond, and Tim Hardaway, but never could lift the Larry O'Brien Trophy once in his 31 seasons of coaching. Nelly Ball was infamous for its run-and-gun style, and many have credited the offense of the Golden State Warriors in the current NBA as a version of Nelly Ball. John Kundla. Kundla is probably the least known name of the coaches on this list, but make no mistake about it, Kundla was a winner. Kundla had a record of 423 to 302, but is largely credited with producing the NBA's first dynasty. Kundla's Minneapolis Lakers won 5 titles in 6 seasons. While it was stated earlier that talent needs coaching, coaches cannot win without talent. Kundla coached 6 Hall of Fame players, including the legendary George Mikan. Jerry Sloan. Sloan coached 22 seasons in the NBA with the Utah Jazz. Sloan was also a rare breed of coach because he stayed loyal, and continued to coach in Utah, a small market that received little to no publicity. He was known for taking absolutely no garbage from anybody. Sloan had an attitude that told you how it was and how it was going to be, and it worked for the most part. Just take a look at the careers of John Stockton and Karl Malone to see his impact on the game of basketball. Sloan had a record of 1,221-803, for a winning percentage of 60.3%. Chuck Daly. No nonsense, you say? There were moments when players and anybody watching the games thought Daly's head was going to explode. Intensity and professionalism is how Daly managed his players. They may not have liked the way the message was delivered, but they got the message, and that is all that mattered to Daly. Chuck won 638 games and lost 437 times over his career. His coaching debut as the head man in charge of the Cleveland Cavaliers did not go so well. He started the season 9-32 before being relieved of his duties. That poor start did not shake Daly, nor did it bother the Detroit Pistons, who hired him to coach the team that would eventually win 2 NBA championships in back-to-back years. Daly coached players such as Isiah Thomas and Dennis Rodman during those glorious years on a team known as the Bad Boys. A group of players who played defense with the intensity that characterized Daly's personality. Some say the Pistons were dirty, others would say they were one of the greatest defensive teams ever assembled. Daly also coached the greatest basketball team to compete internationally. Daly coached the Dream Team to a gold medal in the 1992 Barcelona Summer Olympics. Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, all followed the lead of Daly to dominate the competition easily and win the gold. Larry Brown. Brown's biography photo should show him modeling a construction hard hat. Brown fixed teams that were broken, season after season were perennial losers, outcasts, and he brought out the best of them. Brown had 1,098 wins and 904 losses for a winning percentage of 54.8%. Brown coached legend Allen Iverson, a brash, young kid with a street mentality, and worked with him until he became one of the best players in the league, NBA MVP in 2001. Not surprisingly, winning Coach of the Year in the 2000-2001 season, and coaching the team into the 2001 NBA Finals, which resulted in an eventual loss to the Los Angeles Lakers, is how Brown lifted his Philadelphia 76ers out of the ashes. Brown's only NBA championship came in 2004, as head coach of the Detroit Pistons. That Pistons team personified what Brown brought to the table as a coach. Detroit featured a starting lineup of 5 individual players, who all had their own impact on the game, no superstars, no egos, just wins. Greg Popovich. Greg Popovich is the only head coach that is still an active coach on this list of the 10 best coaches in NBA history. Pop, as he is affectionately known by his players both past and present, has a coaching record of 797 to 383, 67.5%. Popovich had the benefit of coaching talents like David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili, leading them to capture 5 NBA championships. Popovich began his career as the coach of the San Antonio Spurs, by firing Bob Hill, the head coach at the time, and hiring himself to replace Hill. Popovich is probably known for his short, and at times salty attitude that came to light mostly during interviews, but his players love him. They say that if you get to know him, Popovich was like a father to many players, and he has a funny side that not too many are aware of. Phil Jackson. 11. That is the number of NBA Finals championships that Phil Jackson won as a head coach in the NBA. 11 titles is also an NBA record, 2 better than legendary coaching figure Red Auerbach. Jackson is most famous for introducing and implementing the triangle offense. The triangle offense is a continuity basketball offense that combines perfect spacing with a series of actions based on player decisions, resulting in a beautiful basketball offensive system. Jackson's triangle offense was run by some of the true legends of the sport. Jackson coached the Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman, to 6 NBA Finals championships. Jackson moved on to the Los Angeles Lakers, coaching Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant to 3 consecutive championships, and then 2 more with the Lakers with only Bryant as the sole superstar talent. Pat Riley. Pat Riley, aka the Teflon Don, roamed the sidelines with his trademark expensive suits and slicked back hair. Riley spent a lot of his coaching career as the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, and created Showtime basketball, a flashy, up-tempo form of offense that was unique to basketball in that era. Riley won NBA championships in Los Angeles and Miami with the Heat. Riley was a brilliant mind, but let us not be fooled, he had Hall of Fame talent to help him win 1,210 games, 63.6% winning percentage, in his career. Riley coached Magic Johnson, James Worthy, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, and Dwayne Wade to 5 NBA championships over his illustrious career. Currently, Riley resides in the offices of the Miami Heat as president, but do not rule out the possibility of him returning to coaching. Red Auerbach. Until Phil Jackson blew him out of the water with his 11 NBA championships, Red Auerbach was considered to be the greatest coach in NBA history. Auerbach won 9 titles, which is not too shabby, and all with the Boston Celtics franchise. Auerbach is not alone when it comes to having access to the NBA's best talent, even in the early days of the league. Have you ever heard of Bill Russell? The greatest defensive center of all time in the NBA, Russell would win 11 rings in the NBA, most of which were under the guidance of Auerbach. Red had a record of 823 to 426, which was a 65.9% winning percentage, and is the 3rd best of all time. Final buzzer. Coaches are mentors. An athlete can have all of the physical gifts in the world, dominating their sport without fail, but that talent does not always translate into wins. Success in the NBA is measured by how many wins a player or coach ends their careers with. None of the greatest players in NBA history would be where they are today if it were not for great coaching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. That will make my day.